Federal officials allege that once Williamson joined Newsom, she transferred control of the scheme to an unnamed co-conspirator. In doing so, the personal relationship were not disclosed. McCluskey and his spouse had a different surname because she wouldn't take his name. Well, I just wanted to alert you, the PRAs, that we're starting to get Ann Ye. And her first name is unintelligible, and F her, they really don't know who they're messing with. Oh, they really don't. It's bad for them. Well, now you're under federal indictment, so enjoy that. Gavin Newsom, now caught in the middle of a criminal scandal since his former chief of staff, pretty high position, has now been indicted, and it does not look good. You can see her name is Dana Williamson, former chief of staff. She's now caught in this photo leaving a courthouse in Sacramento. She was arrested on federal public corruption charges and a probe involving multiple counts of bank and wire fraud. And we've got the indictment queued up. We'll take a look at what is going on inside. 34 pages of just disgusting corruption from California. And a bunch of other people are adjacent to this thing. Federal officials arrested her, Gavin's former chief of staff, like a big deal, like if Susie Wiles got indicted. Wednesday in a public corruption probe that includes multiple charges of bank and wire fraud, according to a federal indictment obtained by the Sacramento Bee, now published online in a press release by the DOJ. Williamson is new to Gavin's office, just left there at the end of 2024, is named along with Greg Campbell, Sean McCluskey, and two others on a conspiracy to commit fraud by maybe raiding funds related to Xavier Becerra. Remember that name? That guy ended up going into Biden's Health and Human Services Department. 23 counts total, 18 bank and wire fraud. Williamson made her initial appearance while in custody on Wednesday. She pleaded not guilty, was released on a $500,000 bond, and refused to answer questions. She's 53, was the third chief of staff to Newsom. Before joining his staff, she had a consulting firm and was a senior aide to numerous California elected officials. Jerry Brown, Gray Davis. Fraudsters. Yeah, allegedly. Federal officials allege that once Williamson joined Newsom, she transferred control of the scheme to an unnamed co-conspirator. But she was involved the whole time. A Newsom spokesperson distanced themselves. They said, Miss Williamson no longer serves in this administration. While we are still learning details of the allegations, did you read the indictment? Well, about to, so somebody send them this video. The governor expects all public servants to uphold the highest standards of integrity. Why? He doesn't. At the time when the president is openly calling for his AG to investigate enemies, he's responsible for her fraud back when he wasn't even elected. A spokesperson said her office put her on leave. Yeah, Williamson told Gavin, hey, I'm under federal investigation. He's like, oh, really? For what? She's like bad stuff. He's like, all right, you're on leave. McCluskey, a former staffer also to Becerra, who was in the Biden White House, the former Biden official and California AG, now running for governor, was also working with him. Campbell ran a lobbying campaign, according to a statement from the U.S. Attorney's Office. In another statement, Becerra, who's running for governor now and was Biden's Health and Human Services person who wrecked America during COVID, in their investigation said the news of a formal accusation, I fully comprehend the importance of allowing the investigation and the legal process to run their course. Let's take a look at the indictment. There's Gavin taking a break from his French Laundry restaurant outings. Here we see from the DOJ specifically, Newsom, former aide, now indicted, political consultant called Dana Williamson, age 53, hit 23 counts, an indictment now unsealed. U.S. Attorney Grant said, this is a crucial step in an ongoing political corruption investigation that began more than 3 years ago, has nothing to do with Trump, started 3 years ago. Today's charges are the results of 3 years of relentless investigative work. FBI is going to remain vigilant. She disguised her personal luxuries as business expenses, especially to claim improper tax deductions or to willfully file fraudulent tax returns. Let's see. Whoa. She diverted a bunch of money. Let's just take a look at the indictment. The case is United States of America versus Dana Williamson, Eastern District of California. Bunch of counts, including conspiracy to commit bank and wire fraud, interfere with governmental functions, obstructing justice, and more. False statements, and the list goes on and on. Here we've got it. It says Dana Williamson was the founder of a company that did a bunch of lobbying for the California government. And in 2022, she left her private employment and became Gavin's chief of staff. He's like, oh, perfect. You're a political fixer. You can get stuff done here for me. Come work for me. So, okay, great. Actually, co-conspirator 2 was someone else. Former California public public official and the founder, Greg Campbell, Sean McCluskey, a bunch of other people. Now, public official 1 was a federal public official, and she had worked for him, which that might be Becerra. While this person entered federal office, they prohibited active campaign engagements. So law firm 1 specialized in legal advice, and they would review payments that were made. Law firm 1, however, was not responsible for ensuring that the services or the goods billed were in fact provided. So law firm 1 was just kind of handling some of the finances. Other people, actually like McCluskey, authorized the payments, typically small amounts, tracking where the money went. But here's how the conspiracy developed. From February 22 to 24, Williamson, Dana, did knowingly and intentionally combine and conspire with these other people to commit these offenses, to create a scheme to defraud money. They wanted to steal money from the public official's dormant campaign account, that's Becerra's, and then they paid people for no-show jobs. Oh yeah, you want to come over here and like redo my kitchen? Sure, kitchen's beautiful, don't need to redo anything, but here's $100,000. Here's the initial agreement. In or around February 22, Williamson Dana, who was working in a public affairs for lobbying and other things, met and discussed the desire to have more money. They said, here's what we can do. Why don't we just go get Becerra's dormant campaign account and we'll pay you $7,500 a month from that account. Then that's going to subsidize other payments that this person can make to somebody else. So they agreed to that. Williamson paid $10,000 per month to a company, which was controlled by Campbell, and then paid $10,000 into another bank account over to McCluskey. Yeah, but he didn't do any work. McCluskey's spouse did not do any work with anybody and just got paid for it as they were repurposing the money, moving it from company to company. Here you can see. They even made a graph for us in Microsoft Word. Man, that's a hard thing to do. Dormant campaign accounts, funneling this over to Dana and to co-conspirator 2. Nice. Then company C, co-conspiring. They say, oh yeah, here's some more money. And then you can pay services, pay for goods and services. It goes through a payroll provider and then boom, it ends up in McCluskey's bank account. And then he's buying whatever he's into. As part of the conspiracy and in further into their scheme, they made and caused others to engage under false pretenses. These payments were funneled around. McCluskey and Williamson also omitted and concealed how the money was being spent. All this was to fake consulting services to personally enrich McCluskey and to make it appear that law firm 1, to the law firm who's like kind of auditing these things, like invoices were legitimate, McCluskey would personally approve or have his spouse approve the invoices. In doing so, the personal relationship were not disclosed. McCluskey and his spouse had a different surname because she wouldn't take his name. So they just funneling it around. And the lawyers are like, oh, I mean, it's clearly two different people. It's like, no conflict of interest there. The omission was material because they couldn't discover that, oh, they're married and they're just passing money to each other. To further support the scheme, there were false and misleading statements that were made. There were forms that were submitted that were fraudulent. Also, McCluskey sought ethics approval for his spouse's employment from a lawyer's office and then intentionally concealed that she was the one on a no-show job and the income would be paid through companies that he was in control of. This was not just a misrepresentation that his wife would be working when she was not. It was also part of the misrepresentation about who she would be working for and how she was getting paid. All of the lines being crisscrossed, nobody can tell who's getting paid. It was further a part of the manner and the means of the conspiracy that they worked together to avoid detection. They met and communicated to reinforce the bond of secrecy. And later in the conversation, Campbell reinforced the importance of not having payments from the campaign account and at the same time that the payments to the spouse stop. He's like, okay, we got to, delineate these. We can't make all of the things happen at the same time. It'll look obvious that it's us. Here's some exchanges via text message. McCluskey says, hey, I talked to public official 1, Becerra. He wanted me to talk to you. Let me know when is a good time to call. Williamson says, I'm scared. We're in trouble. I'm going to prison. I can talk now. Don't be scared. She says, call me. Call was for 20 minutes. Then in March, McCluskey texts Gavin's former chief of staff. Staying or leaving is complicated and happy to talk more. Is there a way to get lawyer 1 moving like this public official Becerra or myself calling him? I didn't tell him it was for you. I called again this morning. By the way, I don't want you paying for this. I appreciate it. More meetings go by. Then they start talking about the money. Williamson texted lawyer 1, hey, let's do $7,500. Then more emails are being exchanged. How do we move my spouse forward with getting her hired on? I have some commitments to make, so I'm just trying to make sure we're good for March. I need that money. You're good for March. Give your spouse my contact. I'll get you set up. Is there any chance you could pay my spouse this week for March? We're making monetary commitments for travel. I want to make sure we have the resources. Where are you traveling to? Why are you going on a trip? Why do you need to hire your wife in a fraudulent endeavor to get the money? Then in August, Williamson or someone acting at her direction emailed lawyer 1 for $45,000 invoice. Wow, that's a nice one. For consulting. Can you confirm that we can make a $45,000 payment to Williamson for consulting? consulting fees. They say, sure, the law firm, I guess so, yeah, consulting fees to another consultant. They approve it. Money starts getting shoved around. Then we get these other invoices, $12,500 a month. Nice. Williamson emailed the spouse. They're sending emails. Actually, it's $10,000, okay? You're not getting 12. It's like, dang it. Money then starts changing hands, bunch of emails, all these invoices to email an invoice for consulting services. And then they met at a bar near the Capitol and discussed ending the scheme in July 24. Okay, Trump didn't even come in yet. They're like, we're busted. During the conversation, Campbell explained the need to obfuscate the connection between the payments from the campaign accounts and the payments to the spouse, stating, we need to probably eat 1 or 2 months so it doesn't line up directly from when you quit and stop paying her. Whenever you quit, we probably have to at least pay 1 month, or otherwise it's going to look like it's just going to raise red flags. So then they discussed ending the scheme and stated that it was always set up to be icky. Yeah. And it amounted to laundering money. Oh, and it was wrong. Yeah. So then in August, they spoke on the phone about stopping the payments. During the conversation, McCluskey and co-conspirator 2 to continue the arrangement for a time so they could transition out of his federal job and try to get a pension out of the federal government. Just leeches, man. Just go do something valuable and earn some money. He explained that the money that you guys are giving me is helping me fly back and forth to DC and us live there half part-time. Yeah, DC is expensive. Scheme to defraud has happened. The manner and means, they executed it. Look at all these transactions. 45,000, 20,000, 10,000, 10,000, 10,000. Boom, 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 boom. Wire comms, emails, more emails to conduct their conspiracy, and the list goes on and on. Dana Williamson, she knew, dang, $861,000 in false business deductions. Man, that's aggressive. Yeah. $118,000 for a second relative as well at a no-show job. So $118,000. She was filed $697,000 in false business deductions from some other company. Multiple false statements, spoke to lawyers, another false statement, false statement, false statement. Williamson says, so effing the PRA submitter asked for any communications between these corporations. She says the funnier part was it was like any communications and meetings with Greg. And I'm like, and then the way that she wrote it could mean capture all of the meetings, just because she disconnected representatives from she's a third point. And so I was like, well, I'm F if I have to produce all of that. I talk to those a-holes all the time. Co-conspirator 2 says, right, also F her. Yeah, I know, F her, double F her. I mean, the recipient should pay the same effing game they played and make them wait 3 years. Yeah, well, we don't have any responsive documents. I love that. Laughs. Okay. So, well, that's good to know. Is the government official connected to Corp 1 still going to get fired? He sure is. Okay. All right. Well, I just wanted to alert you, the PRAs, that we're starting to get and yay. And her first name is unintelligible, and F her, they really don't know who they're messing with. Oh, they really don't. It's bad for them. Well, now you're under federal indictment, so enjoy that. So they got a lot of bravado too. This coming out from Eric Grant. Shout out to Eric Grant. Man, look at that cool signature. He just uses that E like a signature line. Man, that's pretty neat. Cool. All right, so they got these people indicted, and Gavin Newsom, a question that should come up. Did you know that your chief of staff was committing, looks like millions of dollars in fraud across a number of years? Maybe not quite millions, but maybe close to $1 million. And the DOJ had some other numbers on that. Yeah, $250,000 fines. Here you go. More than $1 million in business deductions for what were actually personal and non-deductible expenditures. Private jet travel, luxury hotel stays, home furnishing, designer handbags, and deductions for no-show jobs for family and friends. Man, we've heard a lot of that lately. I think that mayor of New Orleans, Mayor Adams, Gold Bar Bob Menendez, getting gold bars delivered to him. Man, what a bunch of thieves and grifters. So allegedly. So of course, we'll keep our eye on this, and Gavin Newsom can explain it, but it's just one big, disgusting gutter over there in California. And this is what you get.